Hey guys, so we are doing the first degree black belt self-defense. They're in 3 rotating sets. This is set number 1. Okay, so first degree black belt self-defense, set number 1. Starts very simply. The first one is a diagonal wrist grab. Of course, you have a lot of options. What we're doing right here is what we call a wrist flip, okay, which means my opposing arm is going to strike to his radial, striking him in the arm, while at the same time flipping the other hand up as if I'm doing a knife hand high block. So it hits here, flips up. This allows me to start to get a grip, okay, reaching through the middle. The idea is to think about his elbow wanting to continue in a circular motion all the way around. Okay, so he grabs me here. Strike is to loosen him up. Hand flips up. Continue to let the elbow go through. Okay, this causes pressure to the shoulder. It starts to tear the tricep. I want to step in. I don't have to step very far because I want to get him hip to hip. It's very important because I'm giving him a pivot point to pull over, and I'm going to move him in a circular direction around my body. Okay, he goes down by the force of his shoulder. From here, if I continue with this, his back of his hand should be on the ground. I should be able to take his elbow and tip it forward. Okay, see his hips are coming off the ground because I'm straining the muscles all through here, forcing his body in an uncomfortable pain position. Okay, of course you can strike from here, but the actual self-defense is all the way to the lock. Okay, so again, I do the wrist flip as I strike the arm and I lift up, let his elbow continue all the way through, lock in here, hip to hip, pull him in a circular motion, back of the hand is down, push his elbow toward the ground. You get really good at it, you need to pin it with your knee as well. Okay, you've got hitting here to be able to clear out. Now for self-defense number 2, instead of being a diagonal wrist grab, it's a straight wrist grab. I'm using his shoulder momentum against him. I'm going to twist his body around in a moment. Of course, you can always think about loosening him up first if you need to, but I grab his wrist back, and then I'm going to think about touching my elbow to his hand. As I do that motion, I'm going to step through and lift his arm up and over my head. Okay, this forces his elbow to bend. Now, I don't want to be standing behind him because I have nowhere to go. I end up wanting to be on the outside. From here, as I walk forward, I can pull his arm straight to the ground, putting him all the way down. Now, for training purposes, it's very important that you make sure you walk all the way and commit to that. If I sit there and just take ram him forward, he's going to tear his shoulder out. Okay, so from here, he's got the wrist. I slap, I grab him back, he can elbow. I get over here, I concentrate. Elbow to his hand or his elbow to start to break the grip. I step under as his arms come through. From here, you can see how his body is bending. We're side to side. And I'm going to step forward to pull him to the ground. Okay? Number 3 is a double wrist grab. He's got a hold of both of them as if I'm blocking or he's trying to pull me or get my hands free from something. From here, the important thing is to break the grip. Remember that the space between his thumb and his first finger is the weakest part. So whichever hand you choose to do, I'm going to do a circular motion counterclockwise as if I was trying to clap my hands. I'm going to bring the arm down, up, and all the way around. I'm going to hit him on the inside just for good measure. Okay, helps to loosen up his grip as I come over top so I get the meat around where the pinky is. I turn this straight up. Okay, it's important that it's straight up as if he was doing a downward ridge hand, so that way I can then take my other hand and try to point his pinky toward his ear. This creates a radial lock, which is going to cause pain throughout the arm. Okay, so from that grabbing position, okay, I'll do the other hand. It's as if I was going to clap. My hand comes down and around. I strike to loosen. I get the meat around where the pinky is, and I rotate, turning it straight up. From here, I start to get compliance by pushing forward. My other hand helps out. Now, you can stay in this position, or if you have good pressure, you can change the grip. Okay, that's going to be up to you. But now the idea is to bend his elbow. I'm going to bring it back in toward him, and then I'm going to whip it to the ground. I'm going to bring his arm all the way to the ground to get him to come down. Okay, we call that a whip. All right. Do it again without the takedown, but to show you what I'm doing with his arm. I make this circular action around. I hit. I bring this up like we were before. I start to get my compliance. I almost give it to him a little bit. I give him his arm back so that way he's got some space, and then I drag him forward. It's very important that when you do the takedown, you have to fully commit to it. You can't stop 2 feet through when he's halfway to the ground. You want to take him all the way. Now, for number 4, it's a very simple throw. We're doing an inside hip throw. There's different variations to do it depending on the size of your partner and how well you get through. You can shoot straight in to grab them, or it can start from more of a clinching position. Either one is fine. The idea is just remember that whichever side you decide you're going to go, I'm going to want that wrist or that arm. My other arm reaches all the way around. Don't just grab them by the head, because now you're trying to pull their entire body by their head. One, not good for safety for your partner. Two, I just don't have any leverage. When I reach over top, I want to try and get him almost as if I'm reaching into his armpit. From there, I step my foot through, and I try to get my hips as through to the side as possible. Okay, this is almost starting to rotate his body up and over mine. If I only go to here and continue to twist, yeah, I might get him to the ground. I might get more of a dragging action to the ground, but it doesn't really constitute as much of a throw. It wants to be done in one action as much as possible. So remember, I reach through, when I'm here, my hips come through, I pull them to the ground. So we're in here, you can hit to loosen. Okay, lost his head a little bit on the grip, no big deal. Do it again, but you get the idea. You see how I'm still getting the momentum to bring the body through. Okay, here, hip through, and bring them all the way to the ground. It's pretty good. Now when we move on to number 5, now we're going to start to work the ground a little bit. Okay, for the first segment of number 5, you can start it from the ground or you can start it from the takedown. Mr. Gorman's shooting in on a double leg takedown. Okay, when he shoots in, the first thing I want to make sure that I do as I'm going to the ground is do my best to pull guard on it. Okay, to get my legs up as tight as I can and secure the head. Okay, he's going to be trying to sit up. He's going to be trying to get his body away. If he's smart, he's going to get his knees in real tight. I want to secure the head as much as I can and an arm if possible. Now remember, we're not thinking grappling rules. We're thinking street, we're thinking self-defense. So as soon as I start to secure that head, I can hit. I can open palm. I can elbow strike. I can do whatever I need to do to start to loosen them up. Okay? If you've got the flexible legs, you can also start to use these heels to the backside of his kidneys. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take whichever leg I choose, and I'm going to try and post it on the inside of his hip. Okay? So like for instance, if I was using this leg, I would post it here. Okay? In this case, I'm going to post over here on my right leg since I have control of this arm. This leg is going to sweep in, almost like doing a scissor or an axe kick. As this comes in, I'm going to push with my opposite foot and pull him over in this direction. Okay, continue with the body. I'm up in the mount, and then I have striking position. Okay, so just to do the sweep again, this is going to be a little tricky. I'll go the other way so you can see the difference in the feet. Okay, so I'm going to secure his left arm in this case. My left foot is on the inside of the hip. As I take my right leg and wind it up and swing it in, I'm going to move him in this direction. Okay, I get on top and I strike. So for number 6, for the final one, Mr. Gorman's going to be in the full mount. Obviously, the worst spot where you don't want to be, the first thing I'm going to think about doing is covering to make sure that I'm protecting. Okay, he's going to be hitting, he's going to be punching, he's going to be hammering, elbow, all that stuff. I need to protect myself. Obviously, I'm going to get my knees in tight, and I'm going to try and push him. I'm going to try and drive him forward with a kick. However, when I have the space to do that, I'm also going to think about trying to strike down using hammer fists, elbows, and punches to the inside of his legs, to his femoral artery. If I can hit him in the groin, great, but I want to loosen him up with those kicks to the leg. I'll stick my head out here so you can hear me a little bit as well. So I got these in here, okay? Now, once I have a hold of that, getting a hold of an arm is very important because now I'm starting to throw off his weight a little bit. A free hand that I have can hit with a ridge hand if it's wrapped in too far. A hammer fist, I could strike him in the ear, I could grab him in the hair. And again, I'm going to push off and rotate him over, trying to get on top again and start to strike as usual. Okay, so it's a very traditional sweep from the bottom of the mount, added in with some striking because we're not thinking about traditional jiu-jitsu. I'm protecting, and then I'm going to strike those legs. Okay, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's going to create a window of opportunity. As I do that, I drive him forward. I'm just blocking his arm here so you can hear me. And then I'm going to think about a strike, whether it be a hammer, a slap, a ridge. I'm going to push with my legs and my hips and roll him over. Okay, I go with him so that way I can strike and be removed. So remember, that is first degree black belt self-defense set number 1.